from the post office?
Yes.
And then you also get the Social Security disability from the injury that occurred at work?
Yes.
And right now you're unable to work at all, clearly.
No, ma'am. No.
So tell me a little bit more about the incident the night of the incident.
At the time, like I said, I was going through a lot with my now ex-husband, and like I said, he was very abusive, and we had got into it. And actually, I never really drank Hennessy, but I was drinking some Hennessy, and the next thing I was thinking,
I
oh,
do
this
it.
ain't nothing, and I drank a little too much, and so I drove to
Wait, did you say Hennessy? You were drinking Hennessy and you thought that wasn't nothing?
I mean, that wasn't really my drink. I'm like, this is mild. I'm thinking, oh, this is
I
mild.
guess
This is smooth.
who had been
And
drinking since they were two, it might have been mild, but Hennessy is not a mild drink at all, Miss Burton. Go ahead, let me hear. So
right, so
you were fighting with your husband on that date, and you had a little bit too much to drink. Is that the summary?
yeah, yes, ma'am. And I went and parked the car. I can't remember if I had the keys in the ignition or not, but I parked the car. I said, I cannot drive. I need to try to sleep this off. And so that's what I did. I drove in the parking lot, and
I can hear.
went to sleep.
Okay.
And then I got woke up by the police.
Good morning, House Counsel.
Good morning, Berta. How are you?
I'm fine. And how about yourself?
Good. This is Nathan. Is Jane?
Who? Miss Roberta. How is she on? She asked me to let her in. Oh. All right. Sorry for the
Your hair is
interruption.
beautiful, Judge. I like the way you got your hair, and that is sharp.
Thank you. Thank you. So I want to commend you, first of all, for getting out of the abusive relationship. I know that that's not easy to do. I do want to commend you for getting out of the abusive relationship, but it just seems like you've had abusive relationships since you were 2 years old with the person who was giving you alcohol at 2 years old. I'm appalled. Yeah. And it's hard to punish you for how you were raised, but I am going to have to, because as you know, the drinking and driving is definitely a pet peeve of mine. My father was killed by a drunk driver, Ms. Burton. So if you had killed someone or hurt someone or injured someone, you would be getting sentenced across the street to a much more harsher term. You understand that?
Yes.
I'm actually glad you had sense enough to pull over to the side of the road so that you did not kill someone else. But even pulling over to the side of the road could have been deadly for you.
No, I went into a parking lot. I wasn't just on the side of the road.
I don't care. You were at home in the safety of your home.
Okay. Oh.
And what time was this at? So anyway, I am going to.
No, that's usually something I don't do, though, Judge. I know, I would normally would not try to get behind the wheel. You know what I'm saying? At all, and I really, apologize. And I know, like you said, it could be devastating to someone, who was killed by a drunk driver.
Well, it's devastating to the families of those who are killed by drunk drivers. It's absolutely life-changing, life-altering to the families, but your safety is a concern of mine as well, because you're what type of mental health are they providing for you in the inpatient treatment program that you're in? Are you seeing a therapist?
I do see a therapist. I do see a therapist.
How often are you seeing a therapist?
Once a week.
Once a week?
Yeah.
And you will continue to see the therapist after you, and when do you get discharged from this program?
Actually, I can't tell you. The therapist said actually, I mean, it's like uh I don't know. I think she said really that my program had ended initially, but they rent you apartments with the option to still go to, groups, going like that.
Okay. But I want to make sure that you understand that you need to be in therapy. This needs to be for the remaining of your life, not when you're done, not just when you're done with the outpatient or inpatient treatment program, but for the rest of your life. You need to make sure that you stay with, and if you like the therapist that you're with, keep that same relationship going. But you have had, I mean, just reading the summary of your substance abuse assessment report, it's really, and I know that this is only a small portion of what you've experienced in your life. You've experienced some major trauma in your life, and you're gonna need the services of a professional for the rest of your life in order for you to stop getting in abusive relationships, because your life started out in an abusive relationship. So it doesn't surprise me that you would have been married to someone who was abusive to you. And so to keep that from happening to you in the future, and to keep you out of my courtroom for substance abuse issues, are you still using, I think is it cocaine?
Yeah.
You're still struggling with the cocaine use?
No.
Since when?
For these past 9 months, I have not had anything. Nothing.
So you're definitely going to need, once you're released from the inpatient treatment facility, you are definitely going to need the support that you're receiving inpatient. You're gonna need that support out when you return home. You understand? Don't think that you could do it on your own, because you can't.
Okay.
All right. The court is going to follow the recommendations, adopt the recommendations of probation, and will sentence Ms. Burton to the 12 months of probation with the following conditions. The victims impact panel will need to be completed. I will deviate from the recommendations and not have Ms. Burton complete the highway safety education level class, because she is in the inpatient treatment facility. But I do want you to watch the impact panel, view the impact panel video. And you shall not have any illicit drugs in your system. I don't know how or if you will be testing regularly with probation, seeing that you're in the program that you're in. I don't know if they are going to be able to test you, but you are not to have any illicit drugs. That includes marijuana, unless you have a medical marijuana card. You should not have any alcoholic beverages while on probation. You must submit to a urinalysis twice a month at 36th District Court with an approved outside agency. This is what I mean, like perhaps there's a place or something that you can do where you are in order to submit to the urinalysis screenings, but I'm not sure how that's going to work out. You will talk to your probation officer to see if they are not able to test you at the facility. Then you are going to need to find transportation to be tested twice a month. It'll be twice a month. for 12 consecutive negative screenings. Once you have 12 consecutive negative screenings, I will reduce that to once per month because it does get costly. And I know that you're on a fixed income, but it's definitely cheaper to catch an Uber. I say it all the time. It's cheaper to catch an Uber than to get the operating while visibly impaired or operating while intoxicated on your record. It's a domino effect. You're going to continue.
So I won't be able to get my license back.
You probably won't be able to get your license back right away. There may be some waiting period for you to get your license back. I'm not looking at and I'm not able to advise you of that either, but you would need to contact the Secretary of State to find out what you need to do to get your license back.
Well, they told me to pay a reinstatement fee of $125, that I would have a restricted license for 3 months, and only to be able to drive to school, work, things, or church or meetings, as you stated, to come maybe drop, grocery store, doctor,
You're only able to drive to places that are necessary for your.
But also when she looked at it, it was like it hasn't been clear that I have a OWI on my record with the Secretary.
Because you hadn't been sentenced yet. Today is your sentencing day, so it will show up on Secretary of State on their end after today.
So two times a month testing, drug
testing. 12 consecutive negative testing.
Okay.
And then you reduce it to once per month. That's what the order will read. The probation officer will be aware, and we will keep track of that when you return to court. Are you in inpatient or outpatient treatment right now?
Well, like I said, I live in the treatment facility.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because it says.
And my address have changed too because I've changed apartments. I'm in 233 now. So if
wait, do not tell me your address online or on this on Zoom.
Okay.
The clerk will send you a chat and you can respond back to the chat with your actual address, and we will also, they have your phone number. So you're going to continue your inpatient program until you're discharged in writing. You must review the consequences burned alive video. You must obtain a mental health evaluation and provide written proofs to the probation department of that evaluation was done. And you must also you will be assessed fines and fees in this case of $300. That's $300 additional than what you are paying to your probation officer.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. Say that again, please.
You are going to, which part? The fines and fees? You're going to be assessed fines and fees at $300 from the court. Those are the court's fines and fees. You will also have fines and fees that are going to be assessed to you through probation, that the probation department is going to require you to pay. Oversight.
I have to pay the probation officer?
You're going to pay the court for the oversight fees that probation is going for the oversight fees, as well as the urinalysis testing. You're going to be paying for that out of pocket as well. Understand why I say it's cheaper to catch an Uber?
Excuse me?
Right? And when we find out, once you find out whether or not you have a restricted license or if you actually have a revoked license, you need to make sure that whatever the restrictions are, that you're abiding by those restrictions. You are not to, because if you are driving outside of those restricted times or places, then you're going to pick up a new case. If you pick up a new case, then you're violating probation. And I am definitely not going to tolerate any violations on probation without sentencing you to jail time. Do you understand that?
Yes,
Ms. Burton?
Yes,
you
I
do?
Okay.
Yes. And lastly, the recommendation from probation is that you obtain a sponsor. So I don't know if the program that you're in, the treatment program that you're in, will assign a sponsor to you. But whoever that sponsor is, see if what you can work out to make sure that you could keep that sponsor when you leave inpatient treatment. You're going to need to continue to have a sponsor for the duration of your probation. Do you have any questions?
Okay, so I got you said not to do the highway, whatever. Yeah.
So all of these things, Ms. Burton, you're going to review these things with your probation officer. They're going to be able to make sure, and they're going to be responsible. No, you're going to be responsible for completing them, but they will make sure that you are well aware of what's outstanding. You're going to come back to court right now. Initially, I'm going to have you come back in 60 days. And then after that, you'll probably come back every 90 days. So you'll come back on October 14th. Just to check into the courtroom to see what the status is, and then you will continue to go to probation every week or every month.
Which one is?
And I'll see every month, once a month to them. But you are going to be doing your analysis twice a month. So we'll see you back here on October 14th.
Y'all putting a whole lot of strain on me right now. I really feel, you know what I'm saying, because I am disabled. You know, this is a lot.
I understand, Ms. Burton, but did I just tell you that my father was killed by a drunk driver? Do you know the strain that you would have put on somebody else's life had you killed someone that night? Do you understand that? You know the strain that you
okay, you know, I understand judges that let my husband go after he beat me, you know what I'm saying, halfway to death. I got a plate and 2 screws in my neck, you know, and a whole lot of other things going on because, yes, the abuse, you know, mental health.
I sympathize with you, but I was not the judge of record for your husband, and I will not be held accountable or responsible. I am.
So why are you holding me responsible? Why are you holding me responsible because your father was killed by a drunk driver? It'd be different if I had gotten into a car crash.
If I were holding you responsible for my father being killed, you would have been sentenced to life. You are being sentenced to 12 months of probation. I am not holding that against you. I am preventing another family from experiencing the loss that I have had, right? And so if I continue to let you think that and give you no accountability for your actions, then you're going to reoffend. And the next time you may kill somebody else's father or mother or child. And that's not what I'm going to allow you to do.
Well, you know, it's just a matter of opinion. You know, when
Miss Burton, Miss Burton, Miss Burton,
just thank you. Just thank you. Okay? Just thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, Miss Burton. I wish you the best of luck. I really do. Are you all set, Ms. Burton? Or you're able to log off now? If you have your return date, you return to court on October 14th, and someone from the Department of Probation will contact you regarding your reporting dates.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day. All right.
If I could just briefly do Mr. Brown, he's at work and he's been sitting in this room. I don't want him to get fired.
Okay. Which Brown is it?
Raymond Brown. Mr. Brown, Raymond Brown.
I'm at work as well.
Yes. Okay. Hold on one second, Mr. Bozeman.
We're now on the record. This is the People versus Raymond Christopher Brown, case number SP 158-63541. No insurance misdemeanor. Appearances for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Joe Irby appearing on behalf of Mr. Raymond Brown, who's with this court via Zoom. Mr. Brown, please state your full name for the record.
Raymond Brown.
Yes, Your Honor. I have had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Brown. He was able to provide valid documentation to me. I have reviewed that information. He does have valid insurance. and it expires in November of 2024. And I'm asking for a dismissal based on a prosecutor's recommendation.
Okay, and that's just for the insurance matter. Did he get the warrants lifted or set aside?
Your Honor, I
Looks like
wasn't
they may-
aware of any because they weren't on the docket. He did inquire of those. I didn't know if they had gone into default
Yes,
or
ma'am.
not.
What did you say, Mr. Brown?
Yes, they were lifted. I went to 36th district. And
You set aside?
I went in person.
One moment, let me just verify with the clerk what happened to those two, the warrants that you had set aside. The cases.
You're talking anything? Really? I don't.
Okay, he did actually set aside those warrants, so the warrants have been resolved. And then as it relates to the no insurance misdemeanor, Ms. Irby, you're asking for a dismissal.
Yes, Your Honor.
The court, having had an officer of the court verify that Mr. Brown does in fact have valid insurance, the court will dismiss this matter without prejudice, stipulate to probable cause for the dismissal.
Yes, Your Honor, so stipulated.
And Mr. Brown, you are free to go. And Mr. Brown, you do have a payment plan already set up for those other matters, so keep up the payments timely, please. And you're free to go. Have a good day, sir. Miss Taylor Baldwin, you can come back for pretrial on August 28th at 8:30 a.m.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Have a nice day.
You're welcome. You have a good one as well. What's all of these? Done. I put these on top here. And who are we ready to proceed on now, Ms. Irby?
Your Honor, can we take Mr. Bozeman?
You know what? Tell me, because he's just sat in a trial, and then I want to do the matter with the interpreter. I believe she has a family emergency. Was there a family emergency that you had, Ms. Cox? No? You're shaking your head. I can't hear you though.
I'm sorry, no, I don't have any family emergencies. I can wait for as long as you need me.
Oh, thank you. Bozeman, can you turn your camera on, sir? I need you to check this to a stick. Bozeman. We're now on the record. This is the people for Mr. Bozeman. I know you're probably at work with the safety glasses on, but if you're in a safe location, can you take them off?
I'm not in a safe location right now, Your Honor.
You're not? Okay. Now calling the people versus Kayvon Storm Bozeman, case number SP 1595257. Count 1, no insurance misdemeanor. Count 2, possession of more than one license. SP 1595259. Count 1, expired plates. Count 2, no registration. Count 3, defective or missing equipment. Appearances for the record, please.
May it please this honorable court, Darnell Barton, P 83363 on behalf of Mr. Kayvon Bozeman, sir. Can you unmute and state your name only for the record? And we're going to put you back on mute.
Kayvon Bozeman.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor, I've spoken with Mr. Bozeman, and the people have made an offer. However, he would not avail himself of that. He'd like to set a trial date with the officers required to appear, Your Honor. He's been made aware of his rights as well.
And would you like to place the offer on the record, Mr. Ganger?
Sure, one moment, Judge.
He does right now.
The offer would be for Mr. Bozeman to plead to 1 count of fail to display a valid license, as well as 1 count of improper, that's improper plates. That's correct. Dismiss the remaining matters.
There are 2 additional cases in warrant status. I'll have the clerk read them into the record.
Thank you.
SP 14051721, driver license suspended, repeat offender, and ticket number SP 145444711, driver while license suspended.
Is there a motion?
Yes, a motion to set aside the one.
The court will set aside the warrants and recall any cases in that matter.
Thank you, Your Honor. With that stated, he would respectfully ask for a trial date to be set.
He has one more, I'm sorry,
Oh, no problem.
and it's ticket number U6444352, disorderly conduct.
We move to have that set aside as well, Your Honor.
The court will set aside the warrant in that matter as well. Okay, and Mr. Bozeman, you were advised of your rights. You understand that you have a right to a jury trial. Okay. And that you're waiving your right to a jury trial to have a trial before me as a trier of fact?
Yes.
And you're waiving this right freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
Okay, you can go back on mute. The court will continue the not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Bozeman, and will set this matter for a bench trial on September 3rd, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. That's September 3rd at 8:30 a.m., Mr. Bozeman. Did you hear that? You could just thumbs up. Thank you. That's fine for me. So we'll see you back here on that date, sir.
Thank you.
I'll set aside all the warrant. And you can log off, Mr. Bozeman. You have a napkin? Thank you. We are now on the record. This is the People versus Heater Alvarez Barrera, case number SX 4387659, 1 count of no operator's license, 1 count of no proof of insurance. Appearances for the record.
Llamaron el caso contra el señor Álvarez Heder Barrera. Los cargos número 1 es que no tenía licencia, número 2 que no tenía prueba de seguro, de registro.
Attorney Darnell Barton, P83363, on behalf of Mr. Barrera. Sir, can you state your name only for the record?
El abogado Darnell Barton, de licencia P83363, pidió que usted dijera su nombre en voz alta para las actas.
Mi nombre es Eder Álvarez Barrera.
My name is Eder Álvarez Barrera.
And Madam Interpreter, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that you will translate to the best of your ability from English to Spanish and from Spanish to English?
I do.
Thank you. Today is the date and time scheduled for a pretrial, Mr. Barton.
Yes,
I would like to make a correction to the record. There's only the one misdemeanor. The civil infraction has been closed.
thank you, Your Honor.
Le preguntaron a su abogado cómo quería proceder. La jueza dijo que solamente hay un cargo que se considera un delito de cargo menor. El otro ya ha sido solucionado.
Mr. Alvarez Barrera has been given an offer of allowing unlicensed driver to drive. He's been made aware of his rights and he'd like to avail himself of that offer, Your Honor.
Al señor Barrera le han hecho una oferta de que permitió a una persona sin licencia manejar. Él conoce sus derechos y él quiere aceptar esa oferta.
Mr. Barrera, you were advised of your rights. Did you understand your rights?
Señor Barrera, ¿usted le dijeron cuáles eran sus derechos? ¿Usted los entendió?
Sí.
Yes.
And did anyone threaten you, force you, or promise you anything in exchange for a guilty plea?
¿Y alguien le prometió, lo amenazó o lo chantajeó para que usted se declarara culpable hoy?
No.
Are you pleading guilty on your own free will?
¿Se está declarando culpable porque así usted lo desea?
Sí.
Yes.
And are you pleading guilty because you actually are guilty?
¿Y se está declarando culpable porque en realidad sí es culpable?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you are waiving your rights to a trial?
¿Usted entiende que al declararse culpable está renunciando al derecho de pedir un juicio?
Sí.
Yes.
Understanding that you're waiving your rights to a trial, would you still like to enter a guilty plea?
Entonces, entendiendo todo eso, ¿aún usted quiere declararse culpable?
Sí.
Yes.
Please raise your right hand.
Por favor, levante la mano derecha.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth and the entire truth?
¿Usted jura o afirma que el testimonio que va a dar será la verdad y toda la verdad?
Sí.
Yes.
You can put your hand down.
Puede bajar la mano.
Turning your attention now, sir, to June 22nd, 2024. Were you driving? I'm sorry, I was pausing. I'll pause for you.
Señor, quiero que usted se acuerde del día 22 de junio del 2024. ¿Usted estaba manejando?
No.
No what?
¿No qué?
¿Cómo?
What?
Let me repeat the entire sentence, Madam Interpreter.
Yes.
Turning your attention to June 22nd, 2024, were you driving a 2015 Ram?
Ok. Acuérdese del día 22 de junio del 2024. Usted ese día estaba manejando un vehículo Ram del 2015.
Sí.
Yes.
And were you driving in the area of 94 and Rosa Parks Boulevard?
Usted estaba manejando en el área de la carretera 94 y la calle Rosa Parks.
Sí.
Yes.
And was that in the city of Detroit and in the county of Wayne?
Y eso fue en la ciudad de Detroit, en el condado de Wayne.
Sí.
Yes.
And did you come in contact with the Detroit police officer on that date?
¿Y usted tuvo contacto con un policía de la ciudad de Detroit ese día?
Sí.
Yes.
When asked to produce a valid driver's license, were you able to do so?
Cuando le pidieron que presentara una licencia válida, ¿usted pudo hacerlo?
No.
Is it because you did not have a valid driver's license on that date?
¿Era porque usted no tenía una licencia válida ese día?
Sí.
Yes.
The court is satisfied, Mr. Burton?
Satisfied, Your Honor. Thank you.
¿Satisfecho, señor abogado? El abogado contestó que sí.
The court will enter a guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Barrera for the amended charge of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive.
La corte va a poner una declaración de culpable en el cargo rebajado de que permitió a una persona sin licencia manejar.
Sí, está bien.
Yeah, that is fine.
As it relates to sentencing, is there anything you'd like to say, Mr. Burton?
Sobre la sentencia, ¿quiere usted decir algo, señor Darnell?
You're on mute.
Excuse me, I apologize. Just very briefly, Your Honor. I believe Mr. Alvarez Barrera has a, what they would call an international license. So the people were gracious enough to give this offer. If there's any deference that the people, that the court can give, we would appreciate that. Thank you.
Le preguntó al abogado si había algo que él quería decir a su favor. El abogado dijo que sí, que usted tiene lo que se llama una licencia internacional. Entonces le está pidiendo que por favor tenga piedad al dictar sentencia.
Muchas gracias, dígale.
Thank you so much.
Is Mr. Barrera, are you currently working?
Señor, ¿está usted trabajando ahora?
Sí,
Yes.
And what do you do?
¿Qué hace?
soldadura.
Welder.
So the court is going to assess fines and fees at $200 in this matter, and you'll have 30 days to pay it in full or enter into a payment arrangement by September 12th. If you'd like to. You first.
La multa va a ser $200 en costos y multas. Tiene 30 días para pagar, que sería antes del 12 de septiembre.
Sí.
Yes.
If you would like to enter into a payment arrangement, you must do so in person on the first floor at 36th District Court and bring 25% down.
Si usted quiere que lo pongan en un plan de pago, lo puede hacer viniendo a la corte en persona y traer el 25% de cuota inicial.
¿También lo puedo pagar online?
So can I also pay today?
Yes, he can pay online at 36districtcourt.org as long as it's paid in full by September 12th.
Sí, lo puede pagar con tal de que esté pago por completo antes del 12 de septiembre. Lo puede pagar por el internet en la página web de la corte 36thdistrictcourt.org.
Sí, está bien.
Yeah, that is fine.
You're free to go.
Entonces ya terminamos. Se puede desconectar.
Muchas gracias y disculpen las molestias.
Thank you so much, and I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
You're welcome, sir.
De nada, señor. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. Barton. Have a good day.
Thank you, Ms. Cox. You're free to go as well.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
You want to give Butler a new date? Mr. Butler? Mr. Butler?
Yes, Your Honor.
A bench warrant was already issued for your, on your matter. It is 59, and this matter was set for hearing at 8:30. So you have to come down to the court for each matter. I think it's $50. I don't know how many you had.
Your Honor, I was in Zoom at 8:30. I was on here at 8:15.
No, I'm sorry, Easton Butler, not you.
Oh.
Nelson Butler, who I just let into the room.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
I apologize. Nelson Butler, you have a warrant that you'll have to clear up by coming into the court and bringing $50. All right, are we ready on?
I don't think he heard you.
I don't think he's connected to audio, is he? Mr. Nelson Butler, did you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, so you're free to go. You
All right.
did hear me say that you need to clear up the warrant by coming to the court?
Yeah.
Okay, have a good day, sir. We ready on Montez bail?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now calling the People versus Montez Kivante bail, case number SP 1587620, count 1, no insurance misdemeanor, count 2, driving while license never acquired. Appearances, please.
May it please this honorable court, Darnell Barton, P 83363, on behalf of Mr. Montez Bell. Sir, can you state your name only for the record, please? Go ahead and come in the camera. Mr. Bell, can you come in the camera, unmute yourself, and then state your name for the record only?
I was in the camera all the time. I'm sorry, Montez Bell.
Madam Court
Little
Reporter,
huggy.
can you hear Mr. Bell clearly?
I apologize, Your Honor. It's a little difficult.
Montez Bell, I'm sorry, I'm at work.
Okay, try and get
Are you
somewhere
going?
secure and quiet. If
You
can.
going someplace quiet?
Yes, I'm going right now.
Okay, in the meantime, today is the date and time set for a pretrial. Mr. Barton, how would you like to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. The people were gracious enough to make an offer for Mr. Bell to plead to failure to display and dismiss the remaining counts. He'd like to avail himself of that offer, and he's been made aware of his rights.
So if this is Montez Bell, he had a driving while license never acquired.
Correct.
Yes.
He doesn't have a license now?
He has a no insurance misdemeanor and a driving while license never acquired.
Mr. Bell, what's your intentions on getting a driver's license?
Yeah, if I may jump in very briefly, Your Honor, I apologize.
Yes.
He is, I spoke with him. He has been planning to do so. He was actually in the period of a layoff and they just reinstated his position at the job. So he has been not working for that period of time. He does plan to do so. Our original plan was for him to set a trial date and come back. However, it might be cost effective for him to just do the failure to play now and then pay that off and go do what he needs to do to get that license that he didn't acquire, if that makes any sense to the court.
One moment.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Garinger, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking because he's working on getting his license, he just has this only other charge. I'd actually be willing to amend that further just to an allowing an unlicensed driver, and then he should be able to go out and get that license pretty soon here. I don't know if you want to set a review date or something, Judge, to follow up on that, but
I will. I absolutely will. So, Mr. Bell, what just happened? The prosecutor is willing to allow you to plead to a lesser charge of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive in an effort for you to get your license back immediately. So I will allow you to take that plea, but I will set it for review. You must have your license no later than November 12th.
Okay, thank you so much.
You can go and get them today, but I'll give
Yes.
you until November 12th since I don't know what your status is. I know that you are just getting back to employment, so I'll give you until November 12th to get it. That also means that you cannot pick up another case between now and then either. So if you don't have a license, then don't drive, okay?
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
You got Uber on your phone, you have Lyft on your phone, you have friends, you have family, hopefully that will get you to where you need to be in the meantime. So you had an opportunity to speak to Mr. Barton in the breakout room and he advised you of your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand your rights?
Yes, I did.
Did anyone threaten you, force you, or promise you anything in exchange for a guilty plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty on your own free will?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you pleading guilty because you actually are guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you are waiving your rights to a trial?
Yes.
Understanding that, would you still like to enter a guilty plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth and the entire truth?
Yes.
You can put your hand down, turning your attention, sir, to June 2nd, 2024. Were you driving a 2020 gray Ford?
Yes.
And were you driving in the area of Berg Road and West 7 Mile in the city of Detroit?
Yes.
And did you come in contact with a Detroit police officer on that date?
Yes, I did.
When asked to produce a valid driver's license, were you able to do so?
No, only a state ID.
Is it because you had never acquired a driver's license at that time?
Yes.
Satisfied, counselor?
Satisfied. Thank you, Your Honor.
Stipulate to probable cause for the dismissal.
So stipulated. Thank you.
The court is also satisfied and will enter a guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Montez Bail for the amended charge of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, dismissing the no insurance misdemeanor without prejudice. And Mr. Bell, I am going to assess fines and fees in this matter at $220. One moment.
Your Honor. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Ms. Barton, you had something?
No, I apologize for interrupting, Your Honor. I was actually just gonna ask if the court were to show any deference to Mr. Bell, because again, I mentioned earlier, he had been laid off by a job, so it wasn't that he wasn't willing to work. The job wouldn't allow it. Now he's just gotten back, so I really want to help him get on his, or allow him the time to help him get on.
He has 3 months to pay it.
I understand, Your Honor, but he hasn't been working for about that time, so it's really, I do understand what you mean as far as 3 months, but unfortunately, he's so far behind because of the 3 months or so or longer. I really don't know the exact amount of time. I just would ask for any deference you have so he can use that to get on his feet right now. I know when you have these past bills for 3 months and then you're catching up and then you have more coming, it's a lot on his plate. So I just want to keep him in good standing.
Mr. Bell, do you have children?
Yes, I do. I have a 4-year-old son. He's about to turn 5.
And you're an active father?
Yes, I live with my son. I pay rent. He lives with me. Me and his mother are still together. We're currently engaged.
Okay. I will reduce and amend the fines and fees to $190, but you do have 3 months to pay it. You can make payments online up until that time. You'll return to court on November 12th at 8:30 a.m. with a driver's license.
Okay.
Have a good day, sir.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
Ready on Eastside Butler.
You ready,
I don't have it though. Am I lying? Am I? Definitely lying. Now calling the People versus Eastside Lavelle Butler, case number SP 1595637, count 1, no insurance misdemeanor, count 2, 21 and 25 over the posted speed, count 3, expired plates, appearances for the record.
May it please this honorable court, Darnell Barton, P 83363, on behalf of Mr. Eson Butler. Sir, can you state your name only for the record, please?
Eson Butler.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor, today's the date and time for a pretrial. I believe the people have made an offer to Mr. Butler to plead to speeding 1 through 5 and dismiss the remaining counts, Your Honor. He's been made aware of his rights and he'd like to avail himself of offer.
One moment, please.
No problem.
And I apologize, Mr. Barton. Will you repeat the offer?
Absolutely, Your Honor. The offer is for him to plead to speeding 1 through 5 miles per hour. And the remaining counts would be dismissed. The no insurance 25 or 21 to 25 and expired plates. And he has been made aware of his rights. He'd like to avail himself of that offer. I can explain why the offer is as such, Your Honor, if you'd like me to. I see your face.
I absolutely would like you to.
So in this case, this young man, as you can see with his wonderful glasses, I do love those. He was actually riding a motorcycle close to the highway exit, Your Honor, in which one of these individuals coming off the highway did not stop for him. So he had to accelerate to get out of the way of the individual. However, the officer did not see him. They just pulled up to him as he was at the gas station gathering himself because he almost just lost his life. They didn't see that. They ended up charging him. They found out later, obviously, what was going on, but they still had to cite him for what occurred that they saw in their vision. So that's why he was given this wonderful deal, Your Honor. This is not normal, it's not normal that what happened to him. So that's why. Thank you, Your Honor.
And also this Attorney Luke, Attorney Luke
now.
Garinger, PA 5677, appearing on behalf of the people. Judge, it's my understanding that Attorney Barton, as an officer of the court, also verified that Mr. Butler has valid insurance and plates at this time. I just wanted the court to be aware of that.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Thank you, APA Garage. I apologize about that, Your Honor. Yes, we have the insurance and the plates are no longer expired. They're new valid plates. It's registered. It was just the speed that we were dealing with. Sorry about that.
Okay, that's what I want to hear. And Mr. Butler, seeing that you were that close to an encounter, especially riding a motorcycle, you need to make sure you have insurance at all times.
I actually had just picked my motorcycle up from the shop, and I was on my way home with it. And on my way home, the driver that was coming off of the freeway did not stop at the red light, and I had the right of way. And when I saw him coming, it was really just a matter of seconds that I had to think. So I just had to accelerate. And when I pulled over to the gas station to get myself together, that's when the officers pulled up. And I was trying to explain to them what took place, but when they saw the other car, they still seen the car go across the freeway.
I get it. I get it. I get
got you,
all of
Mr.
that. I
Butler.
just want to make
Appreciate that.
sure that you have insurance at all times, like
Without a shadow
especially.
of a doubt. Without a
Yep.
shadow of a doubt. I concur
That
with
should be a wake up call to you that should be a wake up call for you to make sure that you keep insurance, because if you're hurt or injured, what happens? What happens to you?
I concur with you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So the court is going to stipulate to probable cause for the dismissal, sir.
So stipulated. Thank you, Your Honor.
The court is going to enter a responsible plea on behalf of Mr. Butler for 1 to 5 over, dismissing the no insurance misdemeanor and expired plates without prejudice. Mr. Butler, the fines and fees for 1 to 5 over are $125. You'll have 2 weeks to pay it in full or enter into a payment arrangement no later than August 26th.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir, and good luck to you. Be safe.
I will.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Where do I go into my to make these payments, or where do I make my payment arrangements?
If you're gonna make an arrangement, you have to do that in person, and you need to bring 25% down to put down. And if you're gonna pay it before that date online, you can pay it at 36districtcourt.org. You can also find a list of DivDat machines on that website that you can pay it at in person, like in the neighborhood at a kiosk.
Okay.
Okay, you have until
Okay.
August 26th to do so.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day, sir.
You too.
Ready on Barry?
Yes.
Do I hang up now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are free to leave. You can leave the room or leave the meeting.
Y'all have a blessed day.
You as well. Now calling the People versus Isaiah Edward Berry, case number SP 157-68231. One count of no insurance misdemeanor. Appearances for the record, please.
May it please this honorable court, Darnell Barton, P 83363, on behalf of Mr. Isaiah Berry. Mr. Isaiah Berry, unmute yourself and come into camera, please, and state your name only for the record.
My camera is disabled by the host.
Give me 1 second. I'll get you back. Start video. How about now? There you go. All right. Can you state your name for the record only, please?
Isaiah Berry.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor, today's a date and time for a pretrial. Mr. Berry was graciously offered the improper plates and the no insurance the no insurance misdemeanor would be dismissed. He's been made aware of his rights, and he'd like to avail himself of that offer, Your Honor.
We only have one thing on the docket today. What improper plate?
He's pleading to the
he's
amended
pleading-
charge of improper plates, Your
I
Honor.
see.
That's
I
my
see.
error.
Thank you. You said to the improper plate as if there was an improper plate, but I get it now. Thank you.
No, that's
So,
my
Mr.
error, Your Honor. My apologies too.
Thank you. Mr. Berry, you had an opportunity to speak to Mr. Barton in the breakout room. Did he advise you of your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone threaten you, force you, or promise you anything in exchange for a guilty plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty on your own free will?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty because you actually are guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you are waiving your rights to a trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Understanding that, would you still like to enter a guilty plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth and the entire truth?
Yes, ma'am.
You can put your hand down. turning your attention to 5/27/2024. That's May 27th, 2024. Were you driving a 2022 Dodge?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you driving in the area of Gratiot and French Road in the city of Detroit?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you come in contact with a Detroit police officer on that date?
Yes, ma'am.
And when asked to produce valid car insurance, were you able to do so?
No, ma'am.
Is it because the vehicle was not legally and properly insured on that date?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied, Counselor?
That's right, Your Honor. Thank you.
The court is also satisfied and will enter a guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Berry for the amended charge of improper plates. Mr. Berry, are you currently working?
Yes, ma'am.
The court assesses fines and fees in this matter at $220, and you'll have 30 days to pay it in full or enter into a payment arrangement. You can enter into a payment arrangement by coming into the court on the first floor and putting down 25%. Otherwise, it must be paid in full by going online to 36districtcourt.org no later than September 12th. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am. I would like to speak to my attorney if I could in the breakout room.
About this case?
No.
About something else? You can
Yes.
go back into a breakout room with him if he's done. Who has Ms. Ballard and Mr. Boyd?
Those are mine.
Those are both yours?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Berry, do you have a preference for Mr. Barton, or could you speak to Ms. Irby, who's also a licensed attorney?
Oh, I can speak to her.
Okay, will you place him in the breakout room?
Go to breakout room too, sir.
And between Boyd and Ballard, do we know which one is first?
Ballard.
Ballard is first.
Ballard.
Oh, and she's not on the docket, right? Now calling the people versus Janae Taylor Ballard, case number SP 1095368, count 1. Improper plate, count 2. No insurance misdemeanor. Appearances for the record, please.
May it please this honorable court, Darnell Barton, P 83360, on behalf of Ms. Janae Ballard. Ma'am, may you state your name only for the record, please?
Janae Ballard.
Thank you. Your Honor, today's the date and time for a pretrial. The people were gracious enough to offer her an improper plates charge and dismiss the remaining count. She'd like to avail herself of that offer, Your Honor. There's another component to this I would like to ask you about as it relates to her, but it is not for this charge here. So
She has other.
Yes, Your Honor. She has a warrant for moving violation causing serious impairment. And I want to facilitate her that the process to surrender herself and go forth from there. But she said she spoke with you earlier and that you were going to advise her of some information that relates to that.
No, I would. We did not say any such thing, Ms. Ballard.
Somebody said something about stop getting some warrants. I'm about to do this for you. That's what I said.
Oh yeah. So get your fingers out your braces for a minute. Get those little brushes to go in between. They work wonders.
I know, right?
But
Hey, ma.
for this case, we are going to set it. So what we did was set aside your warrants that you have before me. But the other case that you have a warrant for, it's not before me. It's a criminal misdemeanor, probably in front of Judge Bryant.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I think so.
So you need to sit up, Ms. Ballard. Sit up. You're back. You're in court. So you're going to contact Judge Bryant to find out what you need to do in that case. But for the ones that you have warrants for in front of me, we are going to handle today. Okay. But that's just the improper plate and no insurance misdemeanor. Those are the only two that I have.
Okay.
You know, I'm not touching Judge Bryant's cases at all. So, Ms. Ballard, you had an opportunity to speak to Attorney Barton in the breakout room and he advised you of your rights?
Be quiet. Yes.
And did you understand your rights?
Yes.
Did anyone threaten you, force you, or promise you anything in exchange for a guilty plea?
No, ma'am.
And are you pleading guilty on your own free will?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty because you actually are guilty?
Yes.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you are waiving your rights to a trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Understanding that, would you still like to enter a guilty plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth and the entire truth?
Yes.
You can put your hand down, turning your attention to July 3rd, 2020. Were you driving a black Ford, 2009?
No.
Were you driving a motor vehicle?
I thought it, excuse me, I thought it was a white Malibu that this happened. I don't know nothing about no black Ford.
Let me ask this. Were you ever driving in the area of Curtis and Granville in the city of Detroit?
And I don't know. Not that I know of. No, I only know about Curtis and Out of Drive.
So the court is going to enter a not guilty plea on behalf of Ms. Ballard and set this matter for trial. Would you like a bench trial or a jury trial?
I don't know what this means, man.
Miss, may I jump in very briefly, Your Honor?
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Ms. Ballard, right now, as we talked in the breakout room, the judge is setting a factual basis for your plea. In order for you to even take a plea, you have to lay the factual basis. Remember, I said they want to know, do you know your rights? And then what happened?
Right.
So on that day, she's asking, were you driving a vehicle where there were improper plates and no insurance?
No, I don't even know nothing about this car.
Okay, so then you're gonna set a trial date and you'll have to appear in court for trial. All right,
Okay.
thank you, Your Honor.
Has she been advised of her rights to a jury trial or a bench trial?
We did talk about it, but let me say it now. So, Ms. Ballard, you have a right to either a jury or a bench trial in front of this judge here. One of which, well, actually, there's no difference in between, other than the fact that you would be in front of the judge or you'd have a jury. Which one would you prefer? If you're asking my opinion, I recommend the bench trial for you because one, it'll give you enough time, and then two, this judge is extremely fair.
Yeah, the judge, however they do it, really, but I'd rather have the judge though.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Your Honor.
And you understand that you're waiving your rights to a jury trial to have a trial before me as a trier of fact?
Yes, I understand.
So the court has found that this waiver was made freely and voluntarily and will continue a not guilty plea on behalf of Ms. Ballard, setting this matter for a bench trial on September 3rd, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. Same Zoom.
Okay.
And this is Attorney Luke Garinger, PA 5677. I believe the original charges were no insurance and plates. So Ms. Ballard, if you can bring those documents to court the next time, I'll certainly take a look at those and take those into consideration.
What you mean? I don't have a car, or so I thought this was about my white Malibu. I don't know nothing about a black car. I wish I would have been knew this, but I don't know about no black car. So I don't have a car and I don't have insurance and nothing. So
okay, you can just disregard then what I said.
Thank you.
Did I give you a trial date of September 3rd?
Yes.
Okay, I'll see you on September 3rd at 8:30.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Ballard. Thank you, honey.
All right.
Oh, you did end up signing her file. Thank you. And last but not least, Ms. Ballard, you're free to log off.
Okay.
But what happened to Mr. Boyd? The wrong person logged off. I'll give him a moment to come back.
I was trying to help. I was thinking if she might have had insurance to bring it in.
And dismiss it at that time. Yeah.
Looked like she had a lot going on.
Yeah.
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 So she had another warrant out, but that was Judge Bryant's case?
Yeah, it's a misdemeanor.
Yeah, it was a criminal misdemeanor matter.
Okay.
Serious injury. So.
What is that? What is that? Like a high court misdemeanor?
We're gonna handle her matters today.
What is that? Like a high court misdemeanor? Is that why we don't get those causing injury?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ms. Irby, is he all set? Did he leave? Ms. Irby?
Yes, Judge, he's all set. I answered his question.
Okay, good. And then but it didn't, he's not coming back to this courtroom, correct?
No, Judge,
All
It was
right,
something on
Miss-
on a different matter. It was on a different matter.
Okay, so Miss Irby, you are free to, who was representing Boyd? Was it Mr. Barton? Miss Irby, you are free to go. That concludes the matters for today.
Thank you, Judge. Have a great day, okay, everybody?
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for your help.
You drew the lucky straw, Attorney Barton.
It's good. Today's a wild day today.
He's been on the entire time. I hate